Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror film Mummy Dearest, a film that is directed by White Cross and it stars Jennifer James, Mike Valley, and we have Tara Reid, Michael Paré, Lou Ferrigno and Richard Tyson. Right, where do we start with this one? Right. Okay, well the film focuses on Jennifer James's character Scarlett, who is, at the beginning of the film, she has an accident and she ends up in a wheelchair. So she has to move in with her daughter. However, there is one condition from her daughter, that if she moves in with her and a new boyfriend, that she can't be negative towards her daughter's choices and say anything bad about her boyfriend. Yeah, not a very nice daughter. So the mother moves in. The house is a bit odd. There's like ancient Egyptian decor everywhere. The boyfriend's a pianist. He plays the piano and he's having pain with his fingers. And she offers to help him by giving him these masseuse. She's like a qualified massage person. Masseur, whatever you call them. And she gives him this therapy. And through this therapy, it kind of awakens something in the house, and these strange things start happening that just continue to get weirder and weirder. She believes is putting her and her daughter directly at risk. Right, that's the best way I think I can try and describe this film. Right, genuinely, guys, I don't know why I do this to myself. As you can imagine, I'm not right impressed with this film. I'm just going to get this bit out of the way first. I'm a little bit fed up of watching these films that say they're going to give you one thing and don't. I mean, the poster here has got Tara Reid and Lou Ferrigno on it, okay? They're barely in the film. I bet they didn't even work a day on the film. Same with Michael Paré and Richard Tyson. Richard Tyson's in a scene right at the beginning of the film. He's probably in it 30 seconds. And the same with Michael Paré. He's probably in it 30 seconds, 1 minute tops. It's just not on. You know what I mean? It's false advertising as far as I'm concerned. I was quite looking forward to seeing a film with Lou Ferrigno in. I've not seen one for a while. And he's like I say, he's not in it. I bet when you add it all up, I bet it's probably about 2 minutes or even a minute. You know, I'm being quite generous with the 2 minutes there where he's in it. And the same with Tara Reid. It's just not on. Just make your film the best you can. Don't worry about putting people on the sleeve so you can sell it. You know what I mean? Putting names on it. So I've got that bit out of the way first. It's getting on my nerves a little bit now. A lot of these low budget films, they just put these names in it just so they can try and stick it on a supermarket shelf and someone will buy it because of that name, and they're going to end up watching this film. And trust me, this is not a good film. So yeah, I mean the biggest problem with this film is tonally it's all over the place and the script is really, really terrible. It can't lay its hat on a plot device. There's too many of them going off, and it's almost like they were making this film and kept changing their mind as they were making it as to what kind of film it was going to be. Is it going to be like a psychological thriller stroke horror where the mother discovers horrors in this house? No, not really. Is it a mummy film? Well, no, not really. It's almost like, well, we've got ancient Egyptian stuff in this house. We could get away with turning this into a mummy film. Let's do it. So then this mummy starts turning up in the film out of nowhere. And it didn't make any sense. You just kind of think, well, where's this come from? And then it kind of almost it tries to turn itself into like a serial killer film with bodies buried in the backyard, and you're like, well, where's that come from? None of them make a lot of sense here, and it's a shame really, because even though there are a lot of poor performances in this film, even by a lot of the names, I mean, they're clearly they're doing like a day's work or less, so they don't give a monkeys. But Jennifer James, who plays Scarlett, really puts a lot of effort in here as this woman in a wheelchair who is spiralling out of control in regards to her mental health, And she's, you know, she's really struggling with A, this life in this wheelchair, and then B, a daughter who's really terrible to her. And I'm not kidding, really terrible to her daughter. The only time she ever sees her daughter in the film is when her daughter's berating her. She's absolutely awful. And I get it, you know. You kind of see at the beginning of the film, this Scarlett, the mother, she's a little bit overbearing and a little bit overprotective and a bit interfering. But generally speaking, that's what parents generally do. You know, they've got the children's best interests at heart. And this daughter is just awful to her mother. And then you've got this massaging that's going on. She's qualified masseur, and she's helping him because his fingers are hurting because he's a pianist. But she never lays a hand on him. She's got her hands hovering above him. And then she starts seeing these visions of these things that have gone on in the house and stuff that are connected to him and his past. And I'm just like, well, is she a masseur? Is she a medium? What is going on? And how is she healing his fingers when she's not even bloody touching him? Craziness. Absolute craziness. And then you've got this neighbour as well who tries to warn Scarlett to tell her to get her and her daughter out of the house because, you know, there's some sinister things gone on clearly at the house. And that kind of doesn't go anywhere either. And there's this weird scene as well where he takes her to this place that he thinks going to give her all the evidence she needs that the last people that were in that house never left. So you see, it's a really odd shot because you see this car reversing out of a drive. Not interesting scene at all. Then you see, the next scene you see is it pulling into a drive. Again, not an interesting scene. And then the next scene, you don't see them getting out of the car. No, you just see them walking up to the garage. And then that scene ends with the guys pointing at a car saying, there, that's their car. That's the people that lived there before you. Now my question would be, well, how do you know? Prove it. That could be anybody's car. Craziness, you know, and that was his idea of giving proof. So the film is tonally, it's all over the place. Plot devices just getting thrown at the screen, hoping they'll stick. None of them do, and it just ends up being an absolute jumble of a mess of a film, and one that I really struggle to watch because of it. And it is I do think it's a shame because I do think Jennifer Coser-James put some real effort into her performance. She's the only one really. But yeah, it's not a horror, it's not a thriller, it's none of the things it tries to be, unfortunately, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, and it's a film I suggest you guys avoid. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, I will be back with more reviews on the channel very soon.